All right, welcome back to Morning Live as we are wrapping up our broadcast live from NTM Farm here in the Limpopo Province. I said it's approximately 54 kilometers from Tzaneen. Well, it's spring day today. It's Heritage Month, Tourism Month. There is so much to talk about. I know that your portfolio is that of tourism, but we're not going to be talking about tourism this morning. MEC Seaparo Sekoati, good morning to you and welcome to Morning Live.
Thanks, Palisan, to the viewership.
Would you like me to talk about tourism?
Yes, obviously it's a tourism month and we can talk about tourism. We can link it with the forestry and the spring celebration.
And the Heritage Month, just everything all in one.
Yeah, so it's
just like your moringa tree.
Everything that we'd like to talk about. It's more coming under tourism, so people can come visit, so it's a good month actually.
All right, MEC Seaparo Sekoati is the acting MEC of Agriculture and Rural Development here in Limpopo Province. MEC, tell us about agroforestry in this province as to how the system has actually improved farming, particularly in areas such as where we are here.
Well, part of it is that we have seen that we know that Limpopo is a water scarce province, and what we are doing here is to try and make sure that in terms of agroforestry, we are able to have our people to benefit from particularly trees that are able to withstand drought, trees that do not necessarily need a lot of water, but as well they are able to continue to make a living out of it, and they are able to become part of the growing industry in terms of agricultural sector.
Right, we were speaking to Professor Isi just a few minutes ago, who was basically saying that agroforestry has always been in existence. It's just that people didn't know that it was agroforestry. How do you bring about awareness and knowledge to farmers to actually realize and recognize that they are in practice of agroforestry?
Indeed, there's a lot of practice that has been going on, but it was unconscious, and hence now we are working with various institutions, including University of Limpopo, to make sure that we create that awareness, but as well to make sure that people can actually be able to benefit out of it, because then if you practice it, it's able to double the benefit that we're able to get from the sector itself.
But let us talk about Arbor Week. Knowledge to our people, an appeal to stop cutting off trees and realize the importance of trees around us.
What we have realized is that a lot of our people, our communities have actually now been aware. What we need to be doing now is to continue to give them support to make sure that we are able to plant more trees in their own areas, but as well to make sure that we are able to provide people who can assist them to make sure that we enforce the laws. We have already started in other areas. We are working with traditional leaders. We are appointing elderly people in those areas to make sure that they can assist us to create that awareness, but as well to stop people from cutting of trees. But as well, we've got a number of campaigns which are aimed at creating awareness within our communities for those who are not yet aware. Particularly now, if you go to areas where people are starting to settle, the first thing that a person does is to look for a tree to chop down, even if it's not standing in the way of the foundation, but it's the first thing that a person does. Tomorrow the person is looking for a shade. Tomorrow that person is looking for a shelter. Yes, shelter. But when there are storms, trees are the ones that protect them, from the destruction that can come from the storms. Now, we're just saying to them, please make sure that we are able to save the trees, but as well we are able to continue to plant more trees.
I wanted to talk about the planting of more trees, because the awareness surely should not just be focused on the cutting of trees. They must also know the importance of planting trees around them.
Yes, our people throughout history had shown that they've been taking care of the forest, they've been planting more trees, but as well they've been able to look after the natural forests that we have. Now, what we need particularly those peri-urban areas. That's where we've got a lot of challenge, and we would like to continue to give and provide more trees to the people, create nurseries for people where they can grow their own trees, but as well be able to, create trade amongst themselves as they are continuing to make sure that we are countering deforestation in our areas.
Right. Now, back to agroforestry, MEC. We were speaking to Umam Nomsa earlier on. In fact, from yesterday when we got here, he was actually showing us around. But how do you go about ensuring the sustainability of Misebetsi Nomsa?
Well, part of it is you can see that there are already other stakeholders who are assisting them. They're giving them support, and that is part of the support that we're actually providing, but as well to continue to encourage them through awards, but as well through other non-financial support to make sure that they continue to sustain themselves, but as well they can as well try to reach out to other people and be able to also provide support to them so that we can have everyone being part of this ecosystem that we are trying to create in this province.
But then the financial part of things, that's what I wanted to talk about. Masheleng has your MEC, that's where the sustainability disappears.
Yes. What we're doing, part of it is that we are creating a support system for them to be financially aware, but as well with a lot of other programs we are able to create more incentives in terms of the awards. If you had seen previously a few days back, we have been giving people a lot of money that they can actually use. She's actually part of the winners that we had previously, and she has been able to use that to make sure that she can sustain herself. But yes, we will make sure that we create that support, the financial support that they need. Obviously now they also need to be self-sufficient, they need to sustain themselves, and that is what we are encouraging, so that it's not government that continues to give and give, but they need to come to a level where they are able to sustain, like Mengwenya here, who is already in that position to be able to sustain herself. And
I believe the nicest part about Umam Ngwenya is she's actually transferring her skills and knowledge onto other women who are interested in farming. We're speaking to Umam Nelly earlier on, who was basically saying that they've learned a lot from her in terms of your financial management and sustainability of their businesses as well.
Yes, indeed. And if you look at the national average, the number of women who are actually involved in farming, this province is actually creating the bigger chunk of the number of women who are involved in farming, and that is because they are able to continue to support one another. They are able to find a way of creating that support base, and which we are actually encouraging, so that it's not only government that comes in, but they are within themselves, they are able to create that support base.
All right, MEC, thank you so much for your time. That's the acting MEC of Agriculture in Limpopo, Seaparo Sekoati, talking to us about the initiatives that the provincial department has in terms of the development of the rural areas and agroforestry, to be specific. Well, it's back to you, Leanne, in studio.